Welcome to the Pluta IOWC Center to Deep Winter Qigong. So, Qigong. Qi means energy and Gong means cultivation. So, in these seasonal presentations, we're hoping to give you information about how you can align and adapt your personal energy to the energy of the seasons. Now, a handout was sent out to all of you about this workshop, and the first page was a list of tips and suggestions about things like diet, clothing, activity levels that can help you adapt to the cold, dark days of winter successfully. We can remain healthy even in the longest, darkest winter days. Normally, I would review those tips with you, but today we're doing something special. I'm wanting to teach you winter walking Qigong, which is a routine that is so wonderful for helping you adapt to the winter weather, particularly when you can't get outside. And so I invite you to review the handout you were sent. It has my contact information on there. Please feel free to contact me with any questions you have about the first page, because we're going to go right into learning winter walking Qigong. This is a particularly appropriate Qigong activity for the winter because it is safe, easy, and fun. There's no lifting of the arms above your head, except there will be one optional exercise at the end. And there's no bending forward, except for one optional exercise at the end. So that makes it particularly mechanically safe, because many of us have problems with our shoulders and lower back. And also, even though there's several movements here that we'll be learning, if you do them out of order when you do them, nothing bad will happen. Or if you do them somewhat differently than the way I do them, nothing bad will happen. And in particularly, this is an appropriate Qigong routine for winter because it will help generate inner warmth through our inner hearth, which is the lower dantian, or the lower energy center, which lives in the center of our belly about 1.5 inches below our navel. And also, in this winter walking routine, there are no complex visualizations the way there are in most of the Qigong that we learn through this program. Now, complex visualizations are wonderful, and it's one of the many things that makes Qigong a meditative practice, but it's a moving meditation. But in this particular routine, there are no complex visualizations, and so you can do it in front of the TV at night, which is something I often do. I try to eat about 5 or 5:30, leave an hour for digestion, and then get up and watch Doc Martin and do my winter walking Qigong routine, particularly on a day when it was too cold for me to get outside. So, in winter, we're affected primarily by two things. First is low light. And low light can really dampen our mood, and it can just mess with our circadian rhythms. And Qigong excels at helping you adapt your own rhythms to those of the season. The other thing is that the cold winter weather has a contracting effect on our physical bodies. And this winter walking routine will help deal with both of those through circulating qi through arm movements, and our lungs and heart meridians run through down the inside of our arms and up the outside of our arms. And there are several acupressure points on the chest and down the arms that will be affected by the arm movements that we'll be doing in this routine. Secondly, the kidneys are powerfully affected. In traditional Chinese medicine, each season has the greatest impact on one of the 5 organ systems. And winter is the cold, contracting energy of winter that can most strongly affect the kidneys. So we really need to keep our kidneys warm. So the kidney meridians run down the back of the legs and up the inside of the legs. And so the leg movements of winter walking Qigong are wonderful for that. You'll see that they also will stimulate the pelvis, build warmth in the lower dantian, and also, whoop, I'm losing my, there we go. And they'll also, ooh, that went too high, didn't it? Close. How's that? Is that better? Okay. So we'll find that the movements of the legs in winter walking Qigong also massages the kidneys, which are at the base of your ribs in the back of the body. In addition, there's a very important point on your foot, and it's on the ball of your foot. It's right in the middle of the ball of the foot. It's called Kidney 1. It's where the kidney meridians begin. It's also called the bubbling well. So this routine will put gentle, steady pressure on the bubbling well on both feet, which is really important. All right. I think I covered the intro enough. Are you ready to stand up and do winter walking? Let's do it. Testing, testing. Am I okay with my levels? Yes. Okay, good. Let me get my notes here. The way I'd like us to do this together is I'm going to teach you detail by detail how to do each of the movements. And I'd like to invite you to watch me first all the way through, and then you'll do it with me, and then we'll move on to the next one. And then at the end, we'll stop, we'll rest for a moment, and then we'll put them all together into one routine so that when Sydney sends you your video, you will actually be able to have a practice video. Okay? So, I think I'm going to move this here where I can easily see it. So, winter walking. The movements of the legs, there are only 2 different movements of the lower body. There will be several movements of the upper body combined with each movement of the lower body. We'll go through the first lower body movement first and all of the arm movements, and then we'll pause, and then we'll go through the different lower body movement and all of the arm movements, and we'll pause, and then we'll put it all together. And then after that, we're also going to learn, if there's time, a seated meditation to help boost your lower dantian, and allow time for questions at the end. So let's start just by standing and feeling ourselves on the earth. Just take a few breaths, and throughout this routine, you'll be breathing normally. Whatever that means for you, just allow the breath to flow with the movements in a way that feels easy to you. So begin by connecting with your breath in a way that feels comfortable to you. And just remembering that even though we're all inside, we're still a part of the natural landscape outside. We are the natural world. I always like to think of myself as a tree with strong roots and full branches. And now we'll begin the movements of the lower body for the first section. And it could not be simpler. It is walking in place without lifting your feet. So it's bending the right knee and the left knee and the right knee and the left knee. That's it. Left, right, left, right, left. So just try this one with me. But while you're walking, I want you to be aware that you're massaging your kidneys in the back. Your pelvis is lifting up and down, slightly shifting, which helps boost the inner warmth of the dantian. But you're not trying to shift your pelvis, you're just allowing the pelvis to shift naturally as you walk. And then stop. So that's all that we'll be doing in the first section as we add the arm movements. The first arm movement is simply to bring our arms up. The classic medical Qigong form is to have them chest height, but as with all Qigong exercises, you want to adapt them to your own needs. So I have a little weightlifting injury on my right shoulder right now, so I'm going to go lower today. It's hard to feel in and look at myself on the screen at the same time. But this feels right to me inside now. So this is the first movement, and it's called down. And to begin with, we simply walk in place with our hands up. And that's down. And then the next activity is called push. And when the left knee bends, the right arm extends out to the right side. When the right knee bends, the left arm extends out. So please watch me all the way through for just a moment. Push. And now you can join me. So opposite hand and opposite knee. Now I can feel my shoulders creeping up. Don't do it. Let your shoulders relax. Let your pelvis relax. You're just alternating knees. One more. And let's release our arms down to rest. Because even holding your arms up can be effort if you're not feeling particularly lively and full of energy. The next exercise is called push. And this is the first, that was push. We're going on to move, which is placing our hands on the same knee that's bending. So watch me all the way through. Both hands down beside your right leg, lifting, lowering on the left, lifting, lowering on the right, lifting and lowering. So you can join me, lifting and lowering both hands. You're not twisting to the side. You're just relaxing your arms and shifting. Good. And rest. The next one is a little trickier because you're moving your arms only to one side, and it's called circles. So again, watch all the way through. You begin by bending your left knee. Your hands are still chest level or lower. And as your left knee bends, you circle out toward your right. And as your right knee bends, you bring the hands right back where you started. So left knee, both hands out. Right knee, both hands back. Left hand out. Watch me all the way through. Watching is learning. And then join me. Left knee bends, circle right. Left knee bends, circle right, circle, and circle, and circle, and circle, and relax. Now the same rule that applies to all of Qigong applies here. Anything that doesn't feel comfortable to you, you adapt it for your own comfort. If you leave one of these out because you don't like it, no problem. You can just walk in place and wait for the next one, which will be baby birds. This is one of my personal favorites. So we'll begin with our fingers pointing toward each other and our palms down. Shoulders are relaxed. Watch me all the way through. Start the knees, shifting right to left. And then when your left knee bends, hands come up. Right knee bends, hands go down. Up and down, up and down. Baby birds, called baby birds because this brings a real lightness to your whole energy field. So please join me. Floating hands, thinking about bringing lightness to the whole energy field because winters can feel very heavy. And particularly if you're prone to sad or just depression, this is a wonderful way to lighten up and release. Relax your arms. I hope you enjoy that one. I love that one. The next one is called Pick, and the hands go on the same side of the knee that's bending, but the hand movement is different. Move had your hands parallel, palms facing each other. Now we're going to do Pick, and the way this looks is your right knee bends, you flex your hands and you flex them straight down, and then you lift. You flex your hands over to the left with the left knee and lift. So watch me through. Right, left, right, left. Kind of like you're picking up something, but actually the movement is the flexing of the palms. And always, I try to have an easy, natural speed for myself. And now please join me. Same side of the body as the knee. Spread the palm, release the palm. So it's spread, release, spread, release, spread, release. One more. And relax. So I know this seems like a lot, and it is a lot. That's why we're giving you a video, so that when we put it all together, you will be able to practice at home, because once you practice, you'll find this will, depending on how many repetitions of this you want to do, you will find this routine will take you between 10 and 15 minutes to do. Tiger, another good one. So, the hands on this are tiger claws. And the movement of the knees is the same. And the hands move on the same side as the bent knee, like so. The hand comes into the navel, alternating hands with the same side. Join me. Right knee, right hand, left knee, left hand, right. And again, if your shoulders start coming up, relax. You might want to put on some music that has a good rhythm for you and do this routine. And release. Down. Shake your shoulders out. Shake everything out. Pole is the next one. In pole, your left knee bends. Your hands grasp a pole. That is hip level, hip height. So your hands grasp a pole, the left knee bends, the hands go left, the right knee bends. You're sliding the pole back and forth. Join me when you're ready. Shoulders are relaxed, hands are roughly the same level. Rhythmic, easy. Two more. And release. Last one for this lower body movement is called dip. In move, we put the hands like so, side to side. In pick, we put the hands like so, side to side. In dip, we make our fingers like a spade. The reason we're doing this is we're joining all the meridians. I mentioned that this works on the lung and heart meridians that run through the arms and the chest. They terminate and turn around at the fingers, so we're I like to think of it as tucking the meridians in for a nap. So you make a little tight spade with your hands, and right knee, dip to the right, left knee, dip to the left. Dip, dip, dip. Join me. Dip, dip, dip. Two more. And release. Okay, we've been through all the walking. Pardon me one moment. And now we're going to do the second half, which is a lateral movement of the hips. So before the pelvis was moving, alternating right and left, right and left. For this lateral movement, we're going to keep our knees soft. They're not bent and they're not locked. They're soft. And we're going to, keeping the upper body completely relaxed, we're going to slide our hips to the right just an inch while keeping our head in the center, and then slide our hips to the left. So lateral movement. See the hips, this is the movement of the hips while the head stays center. So try that. Try that. Sliding. And don't slide too far to begin with. Maybe you go an inch. Maybe you go 2 inches. Don't lock your knees up. Let your knees stay relaxed. Sliding the hips to the right and the left. Now, if you feel any pain doing this, don't do it. If you can do it without feeling any pain, this is wonderful for the hip flexors, which are often a source of great tension in the body that can lead to lower back problems. So it's something that doesn't get stretched a lot and isn't easy to stretch. So this is a blessing for those of us who have lower back issues. The way you begin, the lateral section, the second part, has many fewer movements. And to begin with, we simply cross our hands over our navel. So the lower dantian is down in the belly, and we're holding an acupressure point at our navel, and we're sliding side to side. So join me when you're ready. Very gentle. And it's tempting to do this because that feels kind of natural. But in this, the shoulders are just relaxed. The head is like a balanced bobble toy. It's not moving at all. And release. Please watch the second movement. We clasp our hands. And when we go to the right, the hands are up at our chest. And when we go to the left, they come down to our belly. Same lateral movement, but this is called arc. Join me. Knees are soft, feet are on the ground, shoulders are relaxed. 2 more. And release. Shake everything off a little bit because this is a new exercise. Hopefully you're feeling your kidneys actually physically warming up by now. I certainly can feel mine. They're much happier. The next 2 are called flower and drop, and they're mirror images of one another. Same lateral movement of the hips, but we place our hands up, and when the hips go to the left, the hands go to the right, like so. Oppositional movement with the head very still. Join me when you're ready. Soft knees, relaxed shoulders. Flower. You're holding a precious flower in your hands. And then drop. The hands drop down, and you do the same movement at the bottom in front of your belly. Oppositional. Join me when you're ready. Hands to the right, hips to the left, and vice versa. After a while, you'll be able to do these without thinking about them very much. They'll feel very natural. And that's when you'll get the full benefit of the activity. 2 more, and release. The final one, the movement is for you to make this with your hand. Make a circle with your forefinger and thumb. This is called fist. So it's a loose fist, but it's a circle here with both hands. And that circle goes on your navel so that when the hips go To the left fist comes in. Join me when you're ready. Oppositional movement. Two more. Relax your hands and pause. And now the closing. Hips to the right, hands to the left one time. Hips to the left, hands to the right one time. Hands to the center below the belly. Standing steady in the center. Breathing into the lower dantian, gathering energy into the lower dantian. Hopefully you'll hold it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This is a very important part of it, feeling the warmth of the lower dantian, which is like a bed of low burning coals in the center of your belly. And then when you feel full and warm, releasing the hands and waving them up and down. And that's the entire routine. So again, I know it's a lot of little pieces, but they're all very simple. If you do them in a different order or skip some of them, it does not matter. You will still gain the benefits from it. And you will pick it up really quickly if you try repeating it through to the practice video. So I'm going to sit down for a moment to give my kidneys a little bit of a break before we begin the actual whole routine. And while I'm sitting here, and I hope you'll also sit and take a little break, I'm going to have a little sip of water. Kidneys love that. The kidneys do better with small sips of water through the day rather than big gulps and big glasses and bottles of water all at once. So if you can, try to keep yourself gently hydrated through the winter days. It'll be very helpful. I don't know about you, but the central heating dries me out terribly. So in traditional medical Qigong, this routine would be called fragrance Qigong. Why is that? Because the story is that people who did this Qigong routine over time really developed the ability to smell heavenly fragrances. So I've been doing this routine for about 3 years now, and I have yet to smell any heavenly fragrances, but it's gotten me through the winter extremely well. And this is why I've translated it into winter walking Qigong. There'll be time for questions at the end of class. But for now, let's move along to doing all of these at once. Now, if you want to just watch again without doing because you're tired from just learning it, that's fine. Then you can get a video and try them all together in your own time. There's no real way. Most Qigong practices can be adapted to sitting. I haven't found an effective way to adapt this one to sitting yet. So I'm just teaching it as a standing posture. But you are always welcome to rest at any point. Okay, here we go. We start with down. So relax your shoulders, soften your knees, and begin with walking. Breathing naturally. You can do as many or as few of each one as you like. I'm going to go for doing about 20 of each. That seems like a good number for a learning experience. It's hard to count and talk at the same time, so I'm saying approximately 20. And now we're going to do push. Pushing, pushing, pushing. One knee bends, one arm goes out. Relaxed. Shoulders will creep up. Let them relax. Lower your hands when it feels like your shoulders might be happier, or your arms might be happier if you did that. Two more. And then we move. Move. Palms are facing each other. Knees are easy and rhythmic. Hands are relaxed. Arms are relaxed. Breathing is normal and natural. In practice, we move from one to the other as smoothly as we can, but again, if you need to stop and rest, no problem. Let's circle, 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 circle. Now this is where your shoulders might talk to you, your elbows might talk to you, so again, you can keep it low, you can keep it medium, or you can go up by your chest. Let the breath flow with the movement. 3 more. And now transition to baby birds. Lightness, smoothness, ease. Thinking about the strength and the vulnerability of the baby birds. Three more. And now we pick, pick, pick. Flex the palms, shift the knees, keep breathing. I've noticed I tend to slow down on this one because the effort of flexing the palms seems to take a little more brain power for me than the other movements do. It feels somehow unnatural. So I just slow down a little bit, and that's fine. 3 more. 2. And now we'll do the tiger. Arr. This actually is working on the liver meridians. I'm not going to say a lot more about that because it'll distract us. Just trust me. It's working on your liver. Straighten your elbow if you can. Breathe normally. Three more. 2, 1, and pull, pull, row, row, row. I always imagine there's a beautiful smooth piece of bamboo under my hands. This one also slows me down a little bit. You're not doing the lateral movement with the hips, you're still bending the knees. Three more. And now we dip, dip, dip. Fingers are tucked in like a spade. Let those meridians be nice and snug. I am losing my... There we go. That's a little more secure. Dipping, straight up and down. 3, 2, 1, and hands on your navel. Now let yourself take a moment to transition between the lower body movements. Now we're at the lateral part of the movements. So start with just the lateral movement. This is called embrace. So embrace your lower dantian. Embrace your pelvis. Embrace your chi. Hug yourself. And give yourself the super gentle stretch in those outer hips. To me, this feels wonderful, especially after the alternating of the pelvis from the walking movements. These sliding movements feel like a beautiful counterpoint to that for me. Let's do 3 more, and then we'll do arc. 2, 3. Clasp your hands up to the chest, down to the belly, up to the chest, down to the belly, up to the chest, down to the belly, up and down. Again, the head is steady. The hips are sliding on ball bearings, side to side. I'm sure when I watch this back, I'll go, oh, Donna, your head's moving. It will move naturally a little bit, but you want to keep it as still as you comfortably can. Everything in Qigong is trying to balance between accuracy and ease, not too much effort, not too little. 3 more here, and we'll shift to flower. Flower. Opposite hands, opposite hips. I love this one. You're giving your elbows a little lubrication here, yes? Rhythmic and easy. And in just a moment, we'll drop the hands down to the left with drop, flower, and then drop, which makes me think about snowdrops, which I saw one of in my yard the other day. Three more, and then we're going to do fist. 3, 2, 1. Touching the forefinger and thumb, making a loose fist, keeping the head stable, sliding the hips. When you get tense, exhale through your mouth. Two more. And hands go once to the left, and hands go once to the right. And now hands cradle the energy field of the lower belly. Feeling all that beautiful chi that you've generated through this simple but vital practice circulating through your body and outside your body. There will be little micro movements of the chi within your body. So you're looking to be still but not rigid. You're not doing bamboo in the wind where you're allowing the chi to move freely, but you're not rigidly containing it either. You're just letting the chi redistribute through your body and consolidate in your lower dantian through stillness. And again, the longer you can hold this pose, the stronger the inner hearth fires of the lower dantian will be promoting longevity, resilience, inner warmth, warmth of spirit, to see us through the long, cold winter. And release the hands down, and one wave up, and the other wave down. Now, as I said, there is an optional movement that you can do at the end. I'm going to move this away a little bit. And I'm doing this because of my own injury, but some of my students also experience tightness in their shoulders after doing this. So I'm going to turn on an angle, you'll see it better. We're going to exhale, sink the chest, bring the hands into the middle, bring them up to our face and out on an inhale. Now, I'm afraid my headset's going to fall off, so fair warning. Inhale up and around, exhale forward, and release the hands to swing in front of the body. Let the neck and head relax and be droopy and heavy like a flower on a stalk. Release the arms, let them swing. Slow it to a stop and roll back up. I'll do it one more time so you can see it all the way through. Inhaling up, exhaling out, around, and swing the arms in front of the body. And as always, if this hurts your lower back, if it hurts your shoulders, don't do it. Force the exhale so that you're really emptying out your lungs. The bottom of the lungs is where disease can start for many of us. Slow it down and roll up. And we did it. All right. So my kidneys feel nice and warm. I can feel the energy running up and down my meridians. And I'm going to take advantage of this state of heightened circulation and awareness to do a meditation that is particularly helpful in the winter. And it's called a yin, Y-I-N, essence meditation. Without going into a lot of detail, traditional Chinese medicine works with the energies of yin and yang. Most of you have seen the picture of the Tao, which is two teardrop shapes with little dots in the middle. One's black, one's white. The black one has a white dot, the white one has a black dot. So this is a visual representation of the traditional Chinese medical belief that the entire world is made up of opposing complementary forces called yin and yang. Yin is associated with darkness, quietness, stillness, passivity. Yang, or black, is associated with activity, aggression, lightness, and they're complementary to one another. So everything in the winter is going into a more yin state. The plants, the animals, they're all pulling in and conserving their energy, while inside of all of us in the natural world, there's a great deal of activity going on that will lay the ground for what's coming in the spring that comes so soon. And here's an encouraging word. In the Chinese solar calendar that marks the turning of the natural world and the seasons of the year, February 2nd is considered the beginning of spring. So as early as February 2nd in China, which is a large part of China is on the same, I forget, longitude, latitude, whichever, as the United States. In China, spring is beginning under the earth. The work of spring is happening. The seeds are coming up. The sap is rising. And, oh, that's so close. It's so soon. So spring will come. And in the meantime, cultivating the yin energy, the quietness, the stillness, the receptivity within us is a really great way to spend the long, dark winters. And now I'm going to teach you a meditation that will cultivate your yin essence. Yes. Yes. It is because the planting of the feet accentuates the movement of the pelvis. And the movement of the pelvis is what massages the kidneys. And that's why this is so good for your kidneys. Okay? Thank you. Anything else? No other questions? Okay. Pop them up at any point, people, except during the meditation. I want you to meditate. So we didn't use our minds for imagery and directed thought during the winter walking. Now is a time when you can use your minds to help your resilience and your warmth. We're going to be working with 2 images. The first is, I've already mentioned to you, the lower dantian, which lives about 1.5 inches below your navel and 2 inches in the middle of the belly. It's usually seen as a low burning bed of coals. Why low burning? Why don't we want a raging fire? Because it's about longevity. So you want a slow, steady, but bright fire. Now, many people can see no internal imagery, and that's absolutely fine. Many people see a different image than a low burning fire in their lower dantian, absolutely fine. Whatever comes to you, or if nothing comes to you when I direct you to pay attention with your inner vision to your lower dantian, no problem. The second imagery and point in the body we'll be working with is a point that is the most yin point in the body, and it is located on the floor of the perineum. It's located halfway between your genitals and your anus, right on the perineal pelvic floor. So when you're sitting down, it's the point that you're basically sitting on. This point is called the Wei Yin. It's where all the yin meridians in the body join in your pelvic floor. The image that we'll be working with is that of a small globe, like a glowing pearl or a miniature moon, that is resting at that Wei Yin point on your pelvic floor. And I'm going to be giving you directions on how to use that visualization for the meditation while we're doing it. But for now, I just wanted to give you that preparatory information. So again, if you don't have an image, don't strain. What's as important as imagery is intention. So you are intending to make contact with your lower dantian, or the bio battery that sustains us. And you are intending to make contact with your Wei Yin, which is the most yin receptive point in the body. And then your intention is to connect those in ways that I will explain to you. This is a wonderful opportunity to learn in the same way that you learn while you're moving to relax your body, relax your shoulders, and let them go. This is a great opportunity for you to learn how to relax your mind. So you're not grasping at this imagery, and if you notice tension coming into your mind, tense, and that'll be tense thoughts or muscular tension in your body, that's a signal to let go and breathe and go with the flow. So let's begin sitting upright. You can rest against the back of the chair if it's a comfortable chair. We're blessed with wonderfully comfortable chairs here at Pluta, so I can rest my back. If you're in a chair where when you sit back you get all slumpy, then you might want to come forward a little bit and support your back. It's not a lengthy meditation, so you should be able to sit upright pretty easily. So let's begin with our hands either in our laps or touching our belly, whichever feels most comfortable for you, and then closing our eyes. Breathe normally throughout this meditation. If it feels good to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, you can do that. That tends to slow us down a little bit. But if that's uncomfortable for you, breathe in the way your body wants to breathe. But do allow each inhale to drop into your belly. So that on the inhale, you feel a gentle rise in the belly. And on the exhale, you feel a gentle fall of the belly. And begin to direct your internal attention like a flashlight down into your belly in the same way your breath is dropping into your belly. And notice what you see there in the lower dantian in the center of the belly. Maybe a low burning fire. Maybe some bright lights. Maybe darkness. Sustaining your intention to connect to your lower dantian without effort and strain. Cultivating self-acceptance with every breath. Maybe feeling a little more warmth as you breathe. And then directing your attention down to the perineal floor, the pelvic floor, to that point halfway between the genitals and the anus, the way in, where you might see a glowing pearl or a little mini moon resting on the floor. If it's possible to hold that attention to the lower dantian and that attention to the way in at the same time, do so. If not, just focus on the pearl or the moon or the sun or whatever's there for you in your inner world. There's no right or wrong here. And now on your next inhale, slowly inhale and draw that pearl up toward the lower dantian. Slowly, slowly and steadily it floats up. And when it has almost reached the bed of coals or the lower dantian, a gentle contraction of the pelvic floor that bumps it up into the fire or the lights, and immediately exhale and release as the pearl floats back down to the pelvic floor. Release all the way back down. So it's only a very brief and gentle contraction, which is also called a Kegel, that bumps the pearl up into the lower dantian, bringing the yin essence into the belly. And again, visualize the low fire. Visualize the glowing pearl, and on an inhale, the pearl floats up, 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 up through the belly, almost at the fire. Gentle contraction bumps it up. Immediately exhale. Releases the pearl down, 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 floating down, back to the pelvic floor. And again, inhale. Pearl slowly floats up, 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 up. Bump it up into the lower dantian with a contraction Kegel, and release the pelvic floor completely, which will draw the pearl back down. And now just breathe into the lower dantian and the pearl. And then release your hands and let those images fade, and let your attention come back into the present moment. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I find this to be just a delicious companion to winter walking Qigong. It makes me feel very whole and relaxed. Another major side benefit of this practice is Any excess energy that is created in this practice goes to the kidneys, which thrive on yin energy, the same way they thrive on sips of water and gentle massages and warmth. Anything else about this I want to share? Yes, when you're doing it on your own, I only did it 3 times because we're doing a lot today. You can do it as many times as you want to, raise and lower the pearl. Signs that you're done are a sense of fullness and completion, or a sense of anxiety and itchiness, which generates a need to move around in the body. Maybe you'll have an impulse to move around before you feel quite finished. If you have a strong impulse to move around and it feels really uncomfortable, you're definitely through. So you can do 3, you can do 5, you can do 10. Just do it until you're satisfied.